Black power, people. Streets Watching TV back with another dynamic exclusive video for your mind. If it's your first time, visiting my channel, subscribe, mash up the likes, and share this video. I appreciate that. Candace Owens, if y'all don't know who that is, she's a black conservative who defends white supremacy. She's back at it again on a podcast called The Daily Wire Backstage. She reacts to the Derek Chauvin verdict and said it's the wrong verdict, that George Floyd died probably from a drug overdose. It wasn't really murder. We watched that trial. We also saw that video. This was so delusional with this whole situation with her. No matter if the police in the wrong, this lady subsequently always comes out and defend white supremacy. I thought it may be because she's married to a Caucasian. Most black people who marry outside their race, they always defend white people too because of the love that they got for their loved one who happens to be Caucasian. And the people that's doing all the killing on the planet against black people happen to be Caucasian. Also, you got blacks that kill blacks, but that's not right. So they trying to tell me two wrongs make a right. So if blacks are killing blacks, so it make it cool for the Asians and the whites and so forth to kill black people too. According to Candace Owens, that more blacks kill blacks than whites. So why are we and why are we angry? Why are we uptight? I told y'all long time ago that Candace Owens suffered from mental side slavery, which is a prognosis that most Negroes go through in this country because what we went through on the slave plantation. I don't want to hear people telling me slavery happened in the past, because your past is responsible for your future, like I said before. If we would have never went through that slave trade, coming across the Atlantic, we probably wouldn't be in the position that we are in today. We'll be still ruling where we lived at and ruling the world. Stockholm Syndrome is a psychological response. It occurs when a hostage or abused victim bond with their captors or abusers. This psychological connection develops over the days and weeks and months or even years of captivity. See, this is what happened with us as a people. And this is the results that we get on Candace Owens. She in defense of white supremacy. This is a whole new white supremacy in black face. And there's a whole lot of people following suit with this. This is the new black people in the world. They're trying to eliminate us by using our own race. This is psychological manipulation. She may be under some type of mind control. In this podcast, the men that was on the podcast were white men. None of them was objective to her findings, that the guilty verdict was wrong. They believed in what she said. She said that the prosecution withheld a tape or the footage, the whole footage, because we saw the footage where a race soldier had his knee on George Floyd's neck, for 9 minutes and odd change. For 9 minutes and odd change. We saw the whole footage where they take him out the car and put him on the ground. He said he didn't want to be inside of a car. He claustrophobic or something. He never resists. She said George Floyd was resisting. This is what Stockholm Syndrome does to the mind of black people. It even make you lie when you're looking at the truth, because we know the white man is a liar. So she identified with the captors. She has a connection with the slave master. She doesn't see George Floyd as a human being. He's despicable in her eyes. She says she can't physically look at LeBron James no more because she hates him. I'm telling y'all, man, there's a lot of black people in this country. It's starting to be down with white supremacy. We at odds. Black people, we got no friends. That's why we need to leave all these Bibles, these Qurans, all the religious stuff personal and come together for a cause. Because they try to eliminate us, man, by all means. There's no conspiracy theory here. This is a conspiracy. They've been conspiring on us since the day they brought us to this land, America. That put with 3 Ks because it's ran by the Ku Klux Klan. You know what I'm saying? The men in that room on this podcast that Candace Owens was on was in agreement with her. This is bigotry and blackface. Just let you know how deep-rooted bigotry is in this country. That's why us as a people, we have to come together and unplug from the matrix and do our own thing. Because you never would get justice and freedom in a white man's government. Here's a sister who's pushing the white supremacy Republican Party on black people, telling you to vote Republican. Democrats and Republicans are the same snake or the same bird. Do you want the right wing or the left wing of the bird? Right wing, left wing. It's the same bird. And they all flock together. Democrats work hard to keep blacks down. Republicans work hard to keep blacks down. This is genetic survival, baby. This is deep. And Candace Owens, by her having a white man, so anytime a black person speaks out against white supremacy, you are attacking her white man. And every time there's a complaint against white people, you're attacking her white man. She wants you to be silent and take your abuse. She don't want you to fight back. She said she tired of being the oppressed. So if I can't beat them, I join them. She said she's not oppressed. She said she's not the victim. So what she do is start swinging at the victims. She bond with the slave master. She has a connection with these white people. She suffers from Stockholm Syndrome. Hey, y'all mash up the lights. Tell me, man, if I'm telling the truth or if I'm telling a lie. Share this video. I'm gone. Street watching.
Candace joining us. Your thoughts on the guilty verdict, guilty on all charges?
It's the wrong verdict, in my opinion, and I think that it...
Family. Black family. This is Candace Owens saying that the verdict in the Derek Chauvin trial was the wrong verdict. We all witnessed this brother being killed right before our eyes. George Floyd murder right before our very eyes. This sister here is delusional. She suffers from mental health disease called Stockholm Syndrome. Syndrome.
Indicative of the fact that we now live in mob rule. This is mob rule.
Mob rule. She constitute black people to mob rule. Mob rule. She never talk about white supremacy being mob rule. This sister brain is fried. She's intelligent only to white people who feel the same way that she does. Now I know it's quite strange that this sister, as black as she is an enemy of black people. She identifies with her oppressor. She says she's not being oppressed, but you can look at her mind and she's crying out for help the way she hates LeBron and other blacks. She's crying out for help. This is self-hate. Self-hate was taught to our people on the slave plantation. This type of mentality that this sister displays is nothing more than a brainwashed aspect that was adopted by some of our ancestors after going through a process of trauma such as slavery, where the white slave master terrified our people out of fear. So out of fear, our people adopted. See, you got to understand, Candace Owens in her young years in high school, her senior year in high school, this sister was traumatized by 4 white boys who threatened to kill her, called her phone, and threatened to kill her at home. She was trying to befriend one white guy, and all 3 of them turned on her, including the guy that she was trying to be friends with. White people drove her to this extent. To this extent, to hate herself and our people. So when you hear her, understand the sister suffers from a mental health disease. It's psychological. Anytime you go against self to inflict pain upon self, it's suicidal. The suffering of black people in her eyes is nothing more than you stepping on a bug. She take light of slavery and what we go through. So y'all got to understand this is psychological. You're dealing with a brainwashed child. This type of mentality that she displays is brainwashed. The harsh reality of self-hate was taught to our people, like Candace Owens, who sees the world as Caucasian, even though we could clearly see that Candace Owens is a melanated black woman. She is somewhat suicidal. White people pay her money to mislead black America with her self-hate attitude. She take really light of our suffering. She do not care about black people. You may say that I'm wrong and I'm strange and crazy to say such a thing. There's black people that among us, they look black, but they Caucasian in the inside. This is what the trauma of slavery done to our people. And our people always say, you talk about slavery, that was in the past. Well, the past is responsible for our present. The past is responsible for the future. If you rob a bank in 1979, you went to prison, you probably got out in 1985. What I'm saying is, though, if you would have never committed that crime of bank robbery, you wouldn't have a future prison conviction. So whatever you do in your past is responsible for your future. So I don't want nobody to talk about slavery was in the past, because look what it has done to our people. She ain't the only zombie walking around here black, but think white in the inside. She's just a perfect example of self-hate. If you hear this sister rhetoric, it is more of a Caucasian type attitude towards black people. True indeed, she did marry a Caucasian man. And this is her fight because she know interracial dating, people look at it still strange, even though they trying to make it a fashionable thing to date outside your race. And they're only doing that so the white race can continue to be up on our planet. They're the minority up on our planet, and they need our seed to continue. This is genetic survival, people. And this sister is very dangerous to our people if we listen to her. White people pay her money to go around and talk about victims like George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. See, self-hate is a disease. This is the trauma that white America has not lived up to its due promise. 40 acres and a mule, 40 acres and a mule, reparations, psychological trauma that we went through. We need also mental health as well as money. We need more mental health more than money, because we get our mental health together, we can get the money and rise our nation to where it's supposed to be at. See, the reason why our nation cannot rise because of black women. See, your nation only rise as high as your black woman. So if our black women are in defense of white supremacy, how will the black race continue? This woman here is misleading. Just think, if she gets in the head of majority of the black women in this country, the black man would be extinct, dismantled, abolished. We wouldn't be here anymore.
Society. I mean, this is based on the evidence that we saw, and this was polluted from start to finish. So to me, the most important element of this, which I found to be astonishing, was the fact that they never released the full police footage. They had it, they sat on it, they locked it down. It leaked months and months later after the riots, via the Daily Mail.
People, we seen the full footage. Did we see George Floyd handcuffed? How can you resist handcuffed? Did George Floyd resist? I seen the video. See, Stockholm Syndrome is a disease that blinds your judgment. Also blind your very physical sight. Stockholm Syndrome is a real disease that our people suffer from. And no one is addressing this disease that we suffer from. No one's addressing this. No one's talking about this mental health disease that our people suffer from.
I think, but when I watched the full tape, I was astonished that they didn't think to just at least add this context so that people understood, yes, this person was high out of his mind. He asked to be put on the ground. He was resisting arrest. Let's not forget what the media...
Hold up, fam. Y'all heard what she said. She said George Floyd was resisting arrest. Did we all see the video? Can we agree that she's delusional? Can we agree that she's delusional on that part? I know some of you white people say this is the smartest black mind that our people have produced. And I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Only way white people believe that this woman is intelligent black woman that came from our people because she speaks like a white supremacist. And she can get it off because in the skin that she's in. Now, if she was white, would she be able to continue to speak in this manner without having her Instagram account snatched down? The only reason why she could get away, what she's getting away with, because she's in the skin that she's in, but her whole platform is for white supremacy. See, I gotta understand, white supremacy is a very manipulative device when it has money. When it has money, it can have your people acting funny. And see, that's why I say money is the root to evil, because they can pay your people a bowl of soup to sell you out. This is a biscuit-eating coon for real. This is the 21st century coon of the year.
Media, what they did, the power they had in setting up this narrative to begin with. First, the media said he was just getting his life together. Remember St. George?
Yeah,
You guys remember St. George, right? He was just getting his life together. He had moved to Minnesota. Yes, he was, had been in prison in the past, but he was just helping the youth. And everyone was crying, and it was, oh my gosh, this man is, getting a second chance at life.
Fam, she just tried to destroy George Floyd's attitude towards kids and family and the community. We all had that one person who get high, off and on, kick it in the neighborhood, and they show love to the kids and love to their neighborhood. They may have a little problem. Who's perfect in this world? She's not perfect. As you can see, she suffers from mental health disease, Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is when one identifies with their abuser, with their captors. One who loves the abuse of the oppressor and make defense for the oppressor. And see, she's dealing with an identity crisis. She take light of black people suffering at the hands of white supremacy. We can acknowledge that she suffers from an identity crisis. She looks and sounds retarded. She's the new face of white supremacy. So black people, you got to get used to this. I know y'all seen a lot of black people make America great again. When they mean make America great again, they mean bringing back slavery, putting black people back in their place. See, y'all got to understand, America has never been great for black people. When have America been great for black people? We are being killed every day that this sister run her mouth defending white supremacy. So only intelligence that she has is for white supremacy. She does not speak for the majority of us black people. This is a coon. This is a sellout.
And, maybe had the wrong ID or whatever it was using counterfeit bills, and somebody called the police, and then he was killed. He was brutally murdered on the basis of him being black. No indication. Nothing was said out of Derek Chauvin's mouth that, should insinuate that this was about being black versus white, but that...
She said nothing was said out the murderer's mouth. Come on, man. Everybody's seen the footage. This guy looked into that camera and enjoyed what he was doing to George Floyd. You can see the sinister attitude of this Caucasian hate white man. The devil in him killed George Floyd. What is this sister talking about? This sister is very delusional. This sister is a threat to black people. We don't oust her. I mean, we need to speak out more against this right here. This sister here need to be taken down. This is a bigot in blackface. This is a bigot in blackface. Candace Owens is a bigot in blackface. If we do not shut her down, she gonna get majority of our black little sisters going against black men. She hates black men. She physically said that she can't stand the sight of LeBron James. All because she's married to a white man. See, black people, when they marry outside their race and they marry white people, and white people commit all these heinous crimes against black people, she will come out in defense because of her marriage to her white man. We cannot help that her white man looks like the oppressor. We cannot help that her husband bloodline, his great-great-grandfather owned slaves from the UK. She never spoke out against Robert Long, who shot up Asian people down in Atlanta at the spas. White supremacy try to cover up for the white guy. See, white supremacy never comes out and speak out against white people who've been shooting up grocery stores, shooting up spas, all these mass shooting in this country. And the same black woman who testified before Congress and said that white supremacy is not a problem in this country, when we know white supremacy is the biggest virus on our planet. What is she talking about? Mash up the likes, y'all. Mash up the likes. Share this video. Y'all had to add this video onto my presentation because I wanted to show y'all a little bit in depth how some of our people are manipulated to think in this fashion. Streets watching.